humans are endlessly fascinated by destruction. Over the last century, we've built weapons capable of turning entire cities into dust and completely rewriting the geography of our fragile little planet. But what if we took our absolute ultimate weapon and threw it against the Earth's ultimate impenetrable shield? What if we detonated a massive nuclear bomb at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench? It sounds like the ultimate doomsday scenario. Would the sheer force of the explosion crack the Earth's crust wide open? Would it trigger a monstrous, apocalyptic mega-tsunami that washes over entire continents and wipes out all coastal cities in a matter of hours? Or would something else happen? Something even weirder? To answer this, we need to dive deep into extreme physics, crushing pressure, and the bizarre nature of the abyss. Let's find out what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable ocean. Welcome to the ultimate deep-sea thought experiment. First, let's meet our battle arena. The Mariana Trench is the deepest scar on our planet. Down here, the pressure is unimaginable. It's roughly 1,000 times standard atmospheric pressure. It's like having 50 jumbo jets piled directly on top of you. It's pitch dark, freezing cold, and completely hostile to life. Well, except for some very strange, highly adapted creatures. Our challenger for this arena is the RDS-220 hydrogen bomb, famously known as the Tsar Bomba. It remains the absolute most powerful explosive device ever created by humanity. With an estimated yield of 50 megatons of TNT, it's over 3,300 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. So, let's begin the experiment. We drop the Tsar Bomba directly over the Challenger Deep. It hits the surface with a massive splash and begins its long descent, sinking through the twilight zone, past the midnight zone, and into the absolute abyss. It takes hours to reach the bottom. As it sinks, the immense water pressure threatens to crush the bomb's casing entirely. But for the sake of our experiment, let's assume our bomb is housed in an indestructible magic titanium sphere. Finally, it touches the soft, muddy floor of the trench. The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. In a fraction of a second, the nuclear core reaches tens of millions of degrees, a temperature so extreme it completely defies human comprehension. It is momentarily much hotter than the very center of the sun. The heat instantly vaporizes the bomb's own titanium casing and immediately flash boils the surrounding freezing seawater into a massive bubble of superheated steam. A shockwave of unimaginable force blasts outward, pulverizing the sea floor and sending a massive earthquake rippling straight through the Earth's solid crust. If you were standing on a nearby island, you would definitely feel the ground violently shake. Meanwhile, the fireball expands rapidly, creating a massive glowing cavity, a literal bubble of radioactive plasma and steam trapped inside the deep, dark ocean. To understand how crazy this is, let's look at what happens on land. On the surface, a 50 megaton fireball would freely grow to over 10 kilometers across, instantly incinerating everything it touches and leaving a giant crater behind. But down here in the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, the fireball is fighting the entire ocean, and the ocean completely and utterly fights back. Instead of a 10-kilometer sphere of death, the intense pressure stops the bubble from growing past maybe a kilometer. Now, the bubble is desperate to rise to the surface. Hot gas is extremely buoyant after all, but as it rises, it faces a new enemy. The surrounding freezing water rapidly cools the steam inside. As the temperature drops, the steam condenses back into liquid water. The internal pressure plummets. Unable to hold its massive shape, the nuclear cavity begins to shrink and violently break apart. Before it can even get close to the surface, the mighty doomsday bubble essentially dissolves into a stream of warm, highly radioactive fizz. That's it. But wait, what about the surface? Will we get a towering mega-tsunami that washes over the coastlines? A literal wall of water annihilating Japan, California, and everything in between? Actually, no. you'd probably barely notice anything happened. You see, true tsunamis are usually caused by massive displacements of the sea floor, like powerful earthquakes. They push billions of tons of water upward. Our bomb, well, it only displaced a relatively small volume of water before the bubble collapsed under pressure. A few hours after the blast, a weird, warm, slightly radioactive wave, maybe a few meters high, might wash up on an island. No apocalyptic megawave, no Godzilla, just a very disappointing splash. So, humanity on the surface survives without a scratch. No Godzilla, no Mega-Tsunami. But what about the Mariana Trench itself? The Earth might be fine, but the local neighborhood is ruined. We have just violently injected a massive amount of highly radioactive isotopes and heavy metals directly into a fragile, completely isolated deep ocean ecosystem that has never seen daylight. Will this radiation quickly spread across the globe and poison all the fish? Well, thankfully, no. The water down in the abyss is dense and extremely cold, so it doesn't easily mix with the warmer surface. Deep ocean currents move at an incredibly, painstakingly slow pace, like a snail running a marathon. It might take hundreds or even thousands of years for that glowing, radioactive water to eventually cycle its way up the water column and finally reach the surface. And by the time it finally does, it faces another massive, insurmountable obstacle: the sheer, mind-boggling volume of the entire Pacific Ocean, which is essentially an infinite bathtub. The radioactive isotopes would be so heavily diluted by billions of tons of seawater that the resulting radiation level at the surface wouldn't be much worse than normal background radiation. In fact, statistically speaking, you probably get more radiation exposure from simply eating a normal banana. The local wildlife down in the blast zone, however, wouldn't be so lucky. The trench floor would be completely sterile for centuries. It's a humbling thought, really. We spend so much time terrified of the weapons we've created. We view our nuclear arsenals as ultimate, absolute world enders. And for us, fragile surface dwellers and the cities we've built, they absolutely are. But to the Earth itself? We severely overestimate our own importance. What if we took every single nuclear weapon on Earth, all 12,000 of them, and dropped them all into the Mariana Trench at the exact same time? The explosion would certainly be much larger, violently boiling away a significant chunk of the ocean. But it still wouldn't crack the planet or destroy the world. Our planet has survived things much, much worse than our puny little bombs. It has endured cataclysmic asteroid impacts and supervolcanic eruptions that lasted for millions of years. To the vast, crushing, completely indifferent depths of the ocean, our most apocalyptic, terrifying weapon is nothing more than a tiny, insignificant firecracker. The planet doesn't care about our bombs. It was here long before us, and it will outlast us all. The real threat of nuclear weapons isn't that they will destroy the Earth. The threat is that they will destroy us and the delicate, paper-thin biosphere we rely on to survive. The crack stops, but the warning is clear. The Earth itself is a giant, indestructible rock floating in the void. But the part we actually live on, the biosphere, is comparatively as thin as the skin of an apple. The vast oceans, the deep trenches, the churning mantle, they will continue their ancient dance long after we are gone. The Mariana Trench will remain a dark, crushing, alien world, completely indifferent to whether we throw our deadliest toys at it or not. So, instead of spending trillions of dollars figuring out new ways to break the world, maybe we should invest that incredible energy into protecting it, into understanding the incredible physics, biology, and ecosystems that keep us all alive. Building a future where we don't have to fear our own creations. Because right now, this fragile blue marble is the only home we have. And speaking of understanding the crazy, beautiful physics of our universe, you can learn all about extreme pressure, radiation, and energy with today's sponsor. It's an interactive learning platform that makes complex, mind-bending science feel like a fun puzzle game. With interactive courses on everything from quantum mechanics to astrophysics. To try it out for free for 30 days and get 20% off an annual premium subscription, just click the link in the description below. It really helps support our channel. Thanks to them for supporting this video. And a massive thanks to you for exploring the weirdness of the universe with us. If you want to see what would happen if we detonated a nuke on the moon, click the video right here. As always, stay curious and subscribe for more science.